River region last night means there's now been 7. Yes, 7 in the last 8 days. Here's where they've happened. More than half of them in Richmond County. The stabbing last night, it happened on Green Street in Harrisburg, not far from the barber shop where 2 people were found shot dead, and they were killed last week.
That barbershop double murder was the beginning of this deadly trend. As you can see, it's stretching from Hepzibah to Aiken and over to Barnwell. Now we're learning new details about recent violence in Aiken County, including that deadly shooting at the Aiken nightclub.
Our Sydney Heiberger tells us one community activist doesn't believe this recent string of crime indicates a major gang problem.
The Aiken County Sheriff's Office now confirms they believe the shooting at the 7th Lounge was gang-related. They partnered up with state and federal agencies to investigate the crime. At this time, the Sheriff's Office still hasn't announced any suspects in the shooting. Witnesses did say they saw at least 3 men in a light-colored Chevy Tahoe flee the scene after firing at the club with rifles and handguns. This shooting is just one of at least 9 shootings in the past 12 days across the CSRA, not including a deadly stabbing in Augusta this morning. Those incidents have left 8 people dead and injured at least 21 more. While not all were gang-related, gang intervention specialist Devon Harris says in his experience, gang violence often comes in peaks and valleys. Right now, just seems to be a peak.
I know that there's been some incidents of violence in the community, and if you kind of look at that in the past, CSRA, about the same level, they pop off like that, club shootings, drive-bys, and then they kind of fizzle.
And like I said, the Aiken County Sheriff's Office confirms they've partnered up with multiple state and federal law enforcement agencies to help them in their investigation of the 7th Lounge shooting. Tonight on News 12 at 6 o'clock, we talked to the Aiken County Sheriff's Office about how that investigation is going. In Augusta, Sydney Heiberger on your side.
Thank you, Sydney. We are learning a person has died in the crash from this morning. It involves a garbage truck. Happened in North Augusta. Crews are actually still on the scene on 5 Notch Road at Hampton Wills Road, slowing down traffic in that direction. 25-year-old Richard Frazier was killed. The crash happened just before 9:30 this morning. Authorities say Frazier crossed the center lane and hit the garbage truck. Highway Patrol and the city of North Augusta are both investigating.
Well, this has been the coldest day since March 5th for us. We saw high temperatures below 60 degrees for the first time in around 270 days straight. So a very impressive cold day for us, but it is the first day of December nonetheless. Beautiful look at the Savannah River here, courtesy of EarthCam. We're currently down to 45, and when you factor in that wind, it's making it feel even colder. So if you're planning on stepping out this evening, the top number is your temperature, the bottom number is your wind chill. We are expecting that wind to stay fairly steady through this evening and then start to lighten up overnight. But it will be steady enough to just make it feel a few degrees colder than that actual temperature. Here's a look at our current wind chill across the region. Currently feeling like 38 in Augusta, 37 in Thompson. Many locations just staying in the 30s and 40s currently. And the winds are still pretty breezy, but these will subside as we head into tonight. Take a look at some very cold mornings in just a little bit.
All right, thanks for that, Riley. Richmond County. Duncan also says he will continue to fight hard for his conservative policies over the next 4 years.
The virus now, and a record 96,000 people are hospitalized with COVID-19 right now in the U.S. That's according to the COVID Tracking Project. Hospitalizations risen by almost 20,000 since the middle of November. This is the 3rd straight day of new record numbers, following a slight dip reported on Friday.
So how do our local numbers stack up? You can see generally COVID hospitalizations are trending up. This graph shows the trend of in-house COVID patients at our hospitals since October 1st. Right now, AU Health has 43 patients. Doctors Hospital has 19. Aiken Regional has 18. We have not heard from University Hospital in more than 3 weeks now.
So, taking a look at the trend of daily cases in Georgia after 3 days out of 4 of decreasing new cases, the daily cases shoot back up again today with 2,800. Before today, Georgia had 2 days in a row of less than 2,000 in cases. You can see the 7-day moving average starting to trend down because of the relatively lower number of cases in the past few days.
In South Carolina, 3 straight days of rising cases with almost 1,300 new cases today. This also makes 14 days straight of at least 1,000 new cases for the Palmetto State. Just last week, South Carolina had 2 straight days of more than 1,800 cases, the most the state had seen since July. If you are looking for a job, it is Giving Tuesday, a day for charitable donations during the holiday season. We definitely need to make sure that our local organizations are getting this money because in this pandemic year, this need is even greater than before.
It really is, and there's a new tax incentive for 2020 and resources to help you do the most with your money. As Elise Preston tells us, you might not even have to look further than your own community.
The Lower East Side Girls Club in New York works all year long to provide dozens of programs to neighborhood girls. They've expanded their outreach during the pandemic and rely on everyday donors.
Giving Tuesday is incredible because it is a complete dedication to charities and human services organizations who are on the ground doing what we do every single day.
A survey from NerdWallet found around 13% of Americans plan to spend more on charitable donations this year than they did in 2019. 18% plan to spend less.
The bill is passed.
The CARES Act passed last spring sweetens the pot for giving.
Now with this provision, any taxpayer can get up to $300 deduction from their taxes by giving to a qualified charity.
The IRS website has a tool to look up tax-exempt organizations, and resources like Charity Navigator can help you determine how to get the most out of your money.
It's nice to know where your money is going, but it's actually really nice to know what your money has accomplished.
Experts use the phrase, start with the heart, and suggest finding a cause that's important to you, maybe beginning with the needs in your own community.
If you can't set aside extra money for donations, you can give back while shopping. There are also apps that round up your purchase and donate the difference.
If you think of your giving as an investment, it's not a one-time thing. It's actually something you're going to come back to.
And recipients will appreciate that giving spirit all year long.
All right, make sure that you beware of scams like strange text, emails, and especially names that sound too similar to actual organizations. Maybe there's just some tiny little difference that you notice.
The scammers are smart that way. I do like rounding up. That's just an easy way to give. You won't miss that change, but a lot of people will be grateful for it when it's combined. But if you can't afford to give this year, look for volunteer opportunities because your time is really important as well. Okay, we know this. Grandmas will do anything to protect their family, even using a table as a defense. We're going to show you what led up to this scuffle after the break.
I'm Kelly Leffler. I approve this message.
More breaking news to pass along to you here. Grovetown Department of Public Safety says they're now searching for a couple of armed robbery suspects. Officers are telling us they responded to the La Guadalajara grocery store on Grovetown Road today after a robbery. When they got there, the store clerk told them a couple of suspects came in the store, one armed with a handgun. They demanded money, but investigators are working right now on suspect and vehicle descriptions for us to pass along to you. But if you have any information about this crime, call the Grovetown Department of Public Safety. Riley.
Well, we are just about 5 to 8 minutes away from sunset. It is a beautiful look out of our Grovetown cam here, looking west. Clear skies out there today and bitterly cold, and we are expecting another cold night out there. We are at 45 currently, but the wind chill is down to 38 degrees, and many locations across the CSRA today have stayed mainly feeling like the 30s and 40s all afternoon. The next couple of mornings, we are expecting a hard freeze, and what that technically means is temperatures below 28 degrees, so that's what we're expecting out there Wednesday and Thursday morning. Definitely enough to create issues for any sensitive outdoor plants you have and protect any outdoor pets as well. Make sure they have a way to stay warm, and if they don't, make sure you are bringing them inside. Mid-20s across the board, folks. This is going to be the coldest morning we've seen in quite a while out there, and this is definitely enough to maybe trigger some people to maybe bring in some space heaters inside. inside and turn them on. Remember, never run any type of generator inside. That poses a huge carbon monoxide threat. And whenever we get these cold streaks, it's definitely a time of year to where people do start to bring in those space heaters. So make sure you're using them properly. If you have a kerosene space heater, make sure you're opening up a window to provide enough ventilation. The 4 Ps, people, pets, plants, and pipes. These type of temperatures, if you have insulated pipes, shouldn't be too much of an issue, but say if you live out in the country and maybe some outdoor plumbing pipes that just kind of are exposed to the open air, you may want to take some steps to let those drip overnight. High temperatures tomorrow are expected to get a little bit warmer for us. Mid-50s, so that's about, say, 5 to 10 degrees warmer than what we were today. So we're just gradually climbing those high temperatures a little bit over the next few days. Perfect day tomorrow to get out in the yard, maybe plant some winter-type flowers out there. Definitely going to be cold enough out there for it. Early in the morning, we're not expecting temperatures to really get above freezing until we get to around 9 a.m. So definitely going to need multiple layers out there early in the next few mornings. Friday into Saturday appears to be our next front moving through. Most of the rain Saturday, if it does linger into Saturday, most likely get out of here by Saturday morning. So not looking too bad for the weekend. This is going to be the system that heads our way Thursday. It's basically just going to take kind of a U-track and come out of the Gulf of Mexico for us. Most of this rain is expected to show up mainly later into the day Friday night, and then we're going to clear out by early Saturday morning. Behind this system Saturday, we are expected to stay pretty breezy, so not necessarily a bad day Saturday, but the wind will be picking up a little bit. Those winds will calm down Sunday, and heading into next week, looks like we'll hang on to some cool air.
All right, thanks for that, Riley. More breaking news first at 5. We are just learning just within the last few minutes here that Augusta Fire Chief Chris James is resigning.
Now, in this agreement with the city, it calls for him to be on administrative leave starting tomorrow all the way through the end of August 31st of next year. We're told our I-team investigation contributed to the discussion in today's commission legal meeting. Our Augusta government reporter, Sierra Cummings, is there for us at that commission meeting right now. We'll let you know just as soon as we learn more. But again, Augusta Fire Chief Chris James resigning effective the end of August.
They have been unpredictable, but no one ever expects to be hit with a giant bottle of hand sanitizer. Some crazy video out of San Francisco shows an angry woman attacking restaurant workers over her food being late.
But it was a quick-thinking grandma who saves the day and protects her employees, family members. Dion Lim takes us there.
At that moment, I just had to do what I had to do because it's my daughter and my grandson in the middle to the drama.
That drama all played out on surveillance video from Panchitas Pupuseria the day after Thanksgiving. You can see this customer walks in, and after learning her order would take a little longer than expected,
we told her 15 minutes, and it took about 20 minutes.
What happened next gives a whole new meaning to the term hangry.
She grabbed a jug of like a 5-pound hand sanitizer and launched it at me while I was holding my son.
That's when owner and nearly 60-year-old Grandma Doris grabs whatever she can, including this table, to defend her family and her more than 30-year-old business. Operating a small business is challenging enough as it is with the ever-changing restrictions. Some small eateries are now forced to make concessions, all to keep customers happy.
For example, if somebody wants to order a bottle of wine to go, we're offering a 20% discount.
Not all restaurants, though, can afford to make these concessions.
Really just ask everyone to please be understanding that, we're not doing this for fun. Most people are trying to pay the bills and pay their employees and pay the health insurance and pay the taxes without much financial relief.
As for what happened at Panchitas, the woman eventually left the restaurant and thankfully no one was hurt. San Francisco police say the investigation is ongoing. Doris is speaking out in hopes of identifying the woman and holding her accountable.
Bad behavior is one of the things we don't forecast for.
She has this message for the community that has been so good to her family for so many years.
Being considerate of the employees, considerate of the business, and just having some empathy for the industry itself. We are trying to stay afloat for the community and for ourselves.
Not to mention ending up on Santa's naughty list, right? Well, sitting on Santa's lap might not be that easy this Christmas, but some Santa's helpers have found a way to get Christmas wishes all the way to the North Pole from right here at home. We'll show you next.
This time of year, one of the hard parts of this pandemic is not being able to do some of our favorite holiday traditions. And some of that includes letting the kids sit on Santa's lap to let him know what they want for Christmas this year.
Such a simple thing, but Tradition Woodard spoke to one local family who came up with a great way to help.
Even in the midst of a pandemic, Santa is still coming to town. You may not get to sit on his lap, but there are still ways to make sure your Christmas list gets to the North Pole.
Bring your kids down, drop a letter off. Santa's excited to get some writing done.
This is Casey Belanger, one of Santa's helpers, and she has a mailbox in her front yard for children who are eager to write a letter to Santa.
They were so excited to see it. They were like, this wasn't here last year. I'm like, no, Santa just decided to drop it off this year. Like, I must have been really good this year because he put this in my line.
She says over the last couple of days, she figured she'd have 2 or 3 letters, but instead she got 20.
Wow, all these letters just flew out.
Letters requesting things like mermaids and speedboats.
I even had a couple kids roll down their window if I've been outside and be like, I just dropped my letter off.
She says toys are very popular, but some kids have even more specific requests.
I've had some really cute ones that are just like, I want my dad to have more Christmas decorations. So I think we might give a little few surprises to the community and drop some presents off to those houses.
She says with a year like 2020, it's important to spread some Christmas magic.
It's brought light to my life that I didn't know.
And don't worry, Santa is reading every letter and writing everyone back. Tradisha Woodard on your side.
Thank you for that, Tradisha. We are 7 degrees colder than Boston, Massachusetts right now. How about that? We'll take a look at that cold stretch of weather we're experiencing coming up.
Ladies' Night at Lionel Smith Limited.
We are going to hang on to plenty of sunshine the next few days, but it is going to be getting cold, especially in the morning time. Wednesday and Thursday morning, we are expected to wake up into the mid to upper 20s. So yeah, multiple layers needed the next few days. Our high temperatures are going to be going up, though. We should be hitting the 60s by Thursday afternoon, and our next chance for rain moving in by Friday. Stick with us. We'll have much more news and weather just after a very short break.
Únase a mí todas las noches con las últimas noticias del CSRA, noticias del día en wrdw.com y nuestra página de Facebook.